Hey guys, Tony here. GameStop has 7 different securities listed on their S3 filing. Lots of different schemes I'm hearing about on social media that they must be planning since they listed all 7 of them, right? What if I told you the prospectus you're looking at here is from December 2020? Let's go through what is a mixed shelf offering, what is a prospectus, and what is GameStop actually most likely doing this week into next month. We all love a good conspiracy theory, and there are a lot of wild stories about what GameStop is doing with its shelf offering and prospectus, but amidst all of these wild stories, I'm hearing a lot of misinformation. So for those of you who just want to know, hey, what is the nuts and bolts of how these filings work? Is there anything really new or special here? Let's talk about what got filed last week. I have up on the screen here the S3 that GameStop filed back in December 2020, it's on the left-hand side of your screen, versus the one filed on Friday, May 17th. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see they are exactly the same. This is what we call a mixed shelf offering. It is kind of a cover all the bases S3 filing. When companies do a mixed shelf with multiple different securities on it, they are typically doing that for cost efficiency, reducing administrative and regulatory costs, and to provide potential flexibility should they need it. Now, obviously, we know in hindsight from 2020 through 2021, even though GameStop had 7 different securities listed on their shelf back then, the only thing that they ever issued was common stock. So I'd like to kind of start you off with that foundation. Just understand, because a shelf might have multiple securities on it does not mean that the company is going to offer all of those securities or any of them. So it's fine to come up with ideas about what the company might be doing, but how do we know what they actually are doing? They file what is called a Prospectus Supplement, as it says here. When we offer securities under this shelf, we will provide you with a supplement that will contain specific information about the terms and conditions of any securities offered. And that is what we got on Friday, May 17th. Also, in addition to the S3, we got that Form 424B5, the Prospectus Supplement, that said under the shelf, the company plans to sell 45 million shares of common stock. Just addressing this supplement here, the 45 million shares, do we know if they're selling them right now? Unfortunately, we do not. No one knows for sure until we get the next update from the company. And they don't have to update us on a regular basis if they are actively selling these shares at the market. But there are certain filings that have updated share counts in them, like a 10Q quarterly filing, sometimes a Form Def 14A, the proxy statement, sometimes another 424B5. It just depends, but there are certain filings that will have updated share counts in them. The next one that we know we're going to see will be the 10Q on GameStop's earnings date. If they are actively selling, that would be our first peek to see what the updated share count is, if any. If they are actively selling and they finish before the earnings date, they could also issue an 8K saying, hey, the ATM offering is done, and here is how much money we raised. Now, I thought it might be good to do some historical context about what happened after that December 2020 shelf. They had a prospectus that went along with it that said they wanted to raise up to $100 million. The company ended up not pulling the trigger on that prospectus. They did not sell any shares under the $100 million prospectus. Even in that January 2021 run-up, they did not sell any shares, but they did file an updated prospectus after that in April of 2021 for up to $1 billion. But there was a limitation on that $1 billion that they could not sell more than 3.5 million shares to raise $1 billion. This filing was made on April 5th, 2021, and about 3 weeks later, on April 26th, 2021, the company announced that they had completed the ATM offering, selling 3.5 million shares and raising $551 million. After that, in June, when the stock was running up again, they filed another prospectus to capture that price run up, saying that they wanted to sell another 5 million shares. And just a couple weeks later, on June 22nd, we got another update, an 8K, saying that the company had completed that secondary offering for 5 million shares, raising approximately $1.1 billion. So what is GameStop going to do with this current shelf offering and the current Prospectus Supplement saying that they're going to sell 45 million shares? Well, they're going to sell 45 million shares. None of us can tell you exactly how long it's going to take. None of us can tell you with 100% certainty that they're selling them right now. But I did just show you 2 historic references of how the company tends to issue the prospectus and then over a couple of weeks sell the shares to lock in some cash to bolster the balance sheet. There are going to be people asking, why do they need to bolster the balance sheet when they have over $1 billion on the balance sheet? And I think that is a fair question. The company did just tell us last week that when they report their next earnings, they expect cash on the balance sheet to be between $1.07 and $1.09 billion. But they did also announce a 27% year-over-year decline on top-line revenues. So that's going to come in between $872 and $892 million. Could the folks in charge of the finances there be just wanting to add a little bit of extra security blanket to the balance sheet? Yeah, I think that is a very reasonable and responsible thing to do. Capitalize on this price run up now to give them more security on the balance sheet. Could this shelf be some plan to give them flexibility in the future to do mergers or acquisitions? Absolutely. But you won't know that until they issue a new prospectus supplement saying that they're going to do something different. The only thing we know right now is that they are planning to sell 45 million shares of common stock. So although it is fun to speculate, and there are a lot of people doing it, I just want to say to my viewers, the people who want to live in a world more grounded in reality, we can only go by what the company has officially communicated, and that is that they plan to sell 45 million shares of common stock. Any of the other talk that I hear going on right now, I would just take all of that with a big grain of salt. It is complete speculation. I guess in closing, I would say if I was the CFO, knowing what I know about the Q1 results and knowing that this prospectus is out there, that I would be actively selling these shares right now and stacking cash on the balance sheet. I can't tell you for sure that that is what is going on, but that would be my bet. We will find out the answer to that, I guess, in a few weeks when GameStop has their next earnings release. As far as all of these other schemes and plots and plans that you hear people talking about on social media about the company coming up with units and warrants and things to kill the shorts, I would just say, take that with a grain of salt, guys. None of that has been disclosed by the company. And who knows, maybe we will find out something in the future if they do plan to do something like that. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I love to hear from you guys. I am Tony Denaro, and I will see ya on the next video.